What's up guys, Adam here to bring you this week's fishing report. It's nice and snowy out there today. Hope you guys are out there enjoying it. But we've got a lot of great fishing going on. Let's talk about rockfish first. So December, always a great month for fishing for rockfish. Those fish are nice and fat and they fight really hard in the cold water. Those migratory fish, they are sort of at the mouth of the bay right now. We've heard some whisperings of them starting to move up, but we will see if they push all the way up like they've been doing in the past couple years. But anyways, lots of great fishing to be done for rockfish out there right now. The mouth of the Patapsco has been really good. Love Point has been really good. People are still getting them off the Bay Bridge pilings as well. You can also move a little bit further down, fish the east side, the mouth of the Choptank, Eastern Bay, even off Poplar Island. There's been some fish off of Chesapeake Beach, mouth of the Patuxent, mouth of Potomac, plenty of fish around the Tangier. They're really everywhere, guys. You're gonna wanna look for depths of around 30 to 60 foot of water. That's a general range. I know guys are finding them sort of outside of that range, but 30 to 60 foot of water has been hot right now. You're going to want to look for sharp contour. That's where the bait is going to be stacked up, and that's where the fish are going to be as well. You can also look up and look for bird shows. There are plenty of times, especially this time of year, especially this week, where bird shows have been rampant. Those fish are pushing bait up at the surface. Now, things that you're going to want to throw to catch these rockfish right now: your typical jigs, soft plastic jigs, paddle tails, straight tails, those Z-Man diesel kickers everyone's been going crazy about, those little twin tail things. But a lot of people have been finding schools of fish that don't want to bite. You'll screen will light up, those fish won't want to bite. You can throw a metal jig at them. This is Shimano Current Sniper. Smaller profile, a little bit more finessey. Some guys have even downsized to like 4-inch plastics to try and get these fish to bite. You can also live line eels. A lot of people have been drifting eels, or even if you come across a bird show and you have eels, you can just chuck eels in there and they will very likely get smoked. Now, just a reminder, December 10th is the last day that you can keep rockfish. That's also the last day that you can live line with eels. So if you want to do that, make sure you get out and do that as soon as possible. In terms of some other stuff we've got going on, a lot of guys are catching white perch right now. They're stacked up deep. They're really deep right now. And you can just use a sabiki. Just put a heavy weight on there and then throw some bloodworms or grass shrimp on there. I know that there's been some holes in the Patuxent. Guys are catching perch. Mouth of the Potomac, they're catching perch. And then even further up this way along the Bay Bridge pilings and some other rock piles, guys are still catching perch. Keep in mind, if you guys aren't planning to keep those perch, or if you get into rockfish, when you're fishing them that deep, you run the risk of causing some barotrauma. So just, be gentle on the fish and our resources if you're not planning to keep them. Maybe, go and do something else as opposed to fishing really, really deep. Catfish is another thing that we've got going on. They are sort of by the mouths of the rivers. They're going to be in deep holes, really any river. But the Patuxent has been especially hot. The Chester, I know a lot of people have been catching catfish, even like the upper Choptank. So you're going to want to throw bottom rigs, like a regular fish finder rig with some cut LY, chicken liver, cut spot. Really any sort of cut bait is going to work well for catfish. And as always, if you really want a true shot at a trophy, head up the Potomac towards DC. There are some monster blues and flatheads up there. Talking about some pickerel action going on in the tidal creeks, as well as some of your mill ponds and reservoirs and things like that. Now's the time of year where you start to slow down your presentation a little bit for pickerel. Those grasses are dying off, so you can throw baits with treble hooks like jerk baits. I really like this Megabass Vision 110 right here. It's got just insane suspending action. Nice roll to it when you work it, and really any species goes crazy for it, but especially pickerel. And you're going to want to target more of hard structure this time of year. Again, that vegetation is almost completely died off. So you're going to want to look at docks, wood piles, and when you find those spots of structure, you're going to want to make sure that they are relating to a little bit of deeper water when you are going to target those pickerel. But like I said, your Patapsco, your Magathy, your Severn, your eastern shore mill ponds, all of those are going to be great places to go and fish for pickerel. Talking about some largemouth bass, they are also going to be in the upper reaches of some of your tidal rivers, and they're going to be in the mill ponds and your reservoirs, as well as like your local ponds and lakes. If you're looking to go for some tidal largemouth, I know the Pocomoke on the east side has been really nice this time of year. And if you wanted to go non-tidal, like I said, any of your ponds, lakes, reservoirs are going to be great. Largemouth have not completely moved to their winter haunts yet. They're sitting really tight to structure that relates to deeper water. So something that is a little less traditional, but that I like to do to try and catch largemouth this time of year is to slow roll sort of a low profile spinner bait. So like nothing with the 2 blades and the big skirted jigs on there, but I like something small, finessey, like this Z-Man Bullseye. You put a paddle tail on the back of there and just slow roll it. You could get a lot of bites doing that. Some other species that you can catch in these same areas are going to be your panfish, your crappie, and your yellow perch. They're going to be starting to school up pretty tight in deeper water. They're going to be suspended. Most of the time when you find one, you're going to find more than one. Live minnows are a really great option to target them. You can do it under a bobber, or you can put it on a jig head and just kind of find where in the water column the fish are hiding. You can also use artificials. These little Roadrunner hair jigs are really great. I love them. You can do them on a tandem rig, or you can just do them straight. And like I said, once you find one fish, one crappie or yellow perch, you will likely find more. They're most likely not going to be solitary this time of year. Smallmouth fishing, we're getting definitely to the point where waiting for smallmouth is not going to be very effective. Those fish are going to be in deeper water this time of year. They're going to be in holes in your upper Potomac, your Monocacy, your Susquehanna, but they are still actively feeding even though they're in deeper water. So something that you could throw at them could be a football jig. I really like these Kai Tech ones. Nice finessey profile there. You could throw a little crawl trailer on the back and just kind of slowly hop it in those deep holes to get a bite from smallmouth. Trout, there's plenty of holdovers from the October stocking that DNR did. You can go to the areas that you find on the DNR website and fish for those holdovers, whether they're browns, goldens, or rainbows. You can throw inline spinners at them, but I like a more natural presentation now that they've sort of been in the water a little while and seen, their fair share of inline spinners and power bait. So you could do a little trout magnet setup. I like to just fish these under a bobber, chuck them to the top of a run, and just watch your bobber as it goes down. And that'll work for wild trout too if you're heading up to western Maryland or the northern parts of the state looking for some wild browns or native brook trout. Over on the coast, we've got a lot going on there as well. We've seen our first little run of migratory stripers in the surf. You can go out and you can chunk bunker for them. Or you can kind of walk the beach, look for birds, look for bait, and throw big plugs like your Daiwa SP minnows. You can throw big topwaters, you can throw glide baits. Any of that stuff is going to work good. And aside from that, in the surf, it's a lot of dogfish and rays right now. But you do have a chance of getting that trophy striper. In the back bay, guys are still catching plenty of schoolie-sized stripers and just over slot as well. The Route 50 bridge, guys are jigging big paddle tails, live eels, throwing some diving plugs. And then at the inlet, the tautog bite is still really, really good. You just take a little tautog jig like this, put a sand flea or piece of peeler crab or really any sort of crustacean on the end of there, and you have a chance of getting bit. So make sure to head out to the inlet if you're looking to catch some tautog from shore. And if you want to push offshore a little bit to your wrecks and reefs, we've still got a good bite going on there with some triggerfish, sea bass, tog, some flounder. I know guys have been catching some porgy. There's been some random bluefish out there. So there's still plenty of action out there on the wrecks and the reefs. All right, that about does it for this week's fishing report, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck fishing this weekend, and we'll see you next week.